What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all?
Uh, we are back. We missed y'all, but we're glad to be back in the place. Hope everyone enjoyed their week, had a good spring break with the kiddos. But we are back. Dope Sports Chicks. You have the Lioness, Sadell Nicole, and
Carlita Nicole, the quirky queen herself, Chi-Town, born and bred, Texas fed. What's up, y'all?
what is up? So, what you
Yeah,
got for us tonight, Carlita?
we gotta dive right on to it. Okay, so Sadell, first of all, our Mavericks are playing right now as we speak. It's halftime. Um, Kyrie is not playing tonight.
Mhm,
He's nursing an injury, but Luca came back tonight.
mhm, mhm.
And Luca, hopefully, Luca can stay away from the technical fouls because he's right there on the cusp at 15. And if he gets the 16th one, then he will be he the so right now the score is 77-71. The Warriors are winning. But come on, Luca. We don't need Luca getting any more texts. We don't need him suspended for any more games, anything like that. So
Yeah.
here's the deal. The last couple of, I guess the last week or so, I've seen players that I don't even know who the heck they are playing on the Mavericks. And they definitely are making statements, okay? Especially Jaden Hardy, rookie Jaden Hardy. So we've seen him come in off the bench doing things that we need done on the court. So here's the deal with our Dallas Mavericks currently. This is what's going on in the Western Conference. Y'all know to be in the play-in tournament, the play-in is 7, 8, 9, and 10. 6 and up all automatically get into the playoffs. So where does the Dallas Mavericks sit? We are currently number 8. And right behind us are the Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz. The Lakers are at 11, the Pelicans are at 12. Here's the deal. We have 36 wins right now. But there are also two other
36 losses.
that we okay. I was trying to be positive, Sadell.
I mean, it is. We have 36 wins, but we also have 36 losses. But okay, go ahead. I'm being positive.
So she's right. We do, y'all. However, so right now, yes, so we have 36 wins. The Thunder and the Timberwolves both have 36 wins. We are playing the Warriors, who are in sixth place. And they are only one game behind the Clippers and the Suns. So,
And only one game ahead of us.
right. So what this is my plea to all my Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Mavericks fans. Like, do y'all realize that we are at a very fragile point at this point in the season? We only have a handful of games left. And y'all have seen we have not had both Kyrie and Luca in the last few games. And then we don't know. Hopefully, Kyrie will be able to come back this next game. Hopefully, Luca stays healthy for the rest of this season, too. But what's happening is that we could legit possibly even miss the play-in tournament if we don't win these super close games. And this is the thing. We're not losing games because we're getting blown out. No, we're not. What's happening is that we're losing leads. And then at the end of the daggone game, we're playing like the Cowboys where we're scraping to get back on top. And we're losing in the last few seconds, literally in all of these tight games. So these games at this point in time, at this point in the season, the Dallas Mavericks need all of these are must-win games. We need to win all of these games. So what do we need to win this game? Here's the deal. I've been thinking about this very, very, very tough lately, Sadell. So let me know what you think about this. I think that our missing link with the Mavericks is that we need a defensive nuisance on the court. We need somebody who doesn't necessarily have to score or be a shooter, but somebody who makes their presence known on the court. somebody that's a distraction, somebody that will punish you if you sleep on them, somebody like a Dennis Rodman, a Draymond Green, a Patrick Beverly, those types of players, the ones who are going to give it all on their, leave it all on the court, give it their all, and punish you if you sleep on them. And I feel like we don't have that player. Like that's the one missing link, because the thing is, we are able to score. I've told you, when Kyrie and Luca are both on the court together, they are the highest scoring duo in the league. And now we got this Jaden Harden, Tim Hardaway Jr. He comes off um and he plays as a number one whenever Luka and Kyrie are not there. We don't have a scoring issue. We are missing a defensive nuisance. What do you think we're missing?
I still think we still have a consistent scoring issue. Like Luka's going to get his points, but I don't think everyone else scores consistently. Our defense is definitely an issue. Even if you just watched even the first quarter of this game with the Warriors, there were so many defensive assignments blown, like people wide open under the basket, and we standing around looking like, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry, and actually they did a decent job defending him, but he draws so much attention. We were sending two people at him and just leaving somebody wide open who cuts to the basket, and you know what I'm saying? And I think we definitely need a much stronger defensive presence. I just still, and maybe if we can get Kyrie and Luka on the same court at on the same time for an extended period of time, like not one game, like the rest of the games, then maybe, that kind of evens things out. But it'll be interesting because we are at a point where we got 2.5 weeks left in the regular season. And we can't lose any games. And we were just up again, like you said, we have a problem keeping the lead. We get the lead and we have a problem keeping the lead. So we were just up, which granted was only 5 or 6 points, but now we're down by 6 points, so it just swings that quickly from, going up and with momentum to now we go into halftime and they have the momentum coming back out. So I don't know. And I guess I don't know how long Kyrie's going to be out with his foot injury. Hopefully he comes back and is able to have them both be on the court. And it's so crazy watching Luka play. Luka, and I love Luka, but he's very slow. It's almost like he's a Jason Witten in basketball because he always seems to make it to the basket. He always seems to make it to the basket, but it's like he's speed walking. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he's going fast. He's not.
That's extreme. But I don't think Luka is the NBA version of Jay Witt.
I love him. But I'm just saying he moves pretty slow. But anyway.
So I understand. So basically, you're still saying defense is our issue. And I'm saying I agree with you to a certain extent. And I think it's more just the defensive nuisance that we're missing. Somebody that can go and we don't care if they foul out late, in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? But they are that nuisance to aggravate people and get the other team off of their game. Like that's what we're missing. That's what we need.
But see, even like with Draymond brings a presence in the middle. He's a big guy. You mentioned Dennis Rodman. That's also the thing. Like we don't have the presence that we need in the paint.
No,
we just don't.
Right.
No, but I mean offense and defensively, because Draymond is point guardish. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot of things on the offensive end as well that, makes that team go. And yeah, when you come in there, you're going to have to think twice. The same thing, like you said with Dennis Rodman. He wasn't as much of an offensive presence, of course, but he was always on the boards. He just did things differently. It was just, somebody that's rough and tough. We just don't have a very strong inside presence. And we we've lacked that for when did we win? 2011. So we've lacked that since then.
Well, I'm just saying my plea with the Mavericks is to not get comfortable and really play these games as if we have to win them, because we do.
We do have to. Like, we
Yes,
don't have a
we
right to be
do.
comfortable.
Right. No, not
We're
at all. Not
we're
at all.
barely at 500. I mean, we are.
Bare you said barely, but you're right. Ant says, I don't think Luca has any idea, wow, where the Mavs training room is.
I love Luca, but I mean, I'm just saying he does not move fast. He doesn't look strong, and I mean, he's a little thick. I think if he lost a little bit of weight, then he probably would be able to move a little faster. Um,
Legit, Luca does not physically look as if he plays basketball for a living. He doesn't. And I don't even know how that works. I don't. But he's still, I mean, he's still scoring points, he's still getting assists, he's still rebounding
but I'm
on
saying,
teams.
imagine if he was more physically fit. Imagine if he
Absolutely.
could go full speed. I mean, he would be hard to go because I literally first 2 minutes of the game, I watched him go full court at 2.2 miles per hour, not making any kind of fancy move, and get all the way to the hole and throw it off the backboard. And I was like, how the freak did he get to the hole? Like, I mean, I don't even know
Wow.
how.
Yes.
I don't know. But
That's
imagine if
that's
he was actually in shape. Imagine if he was actually lighter and able to move the way he should be able to move, especially at his age. He's so young. So I'm saying, and everybody's body type is different. It's not the same. So I'm not saying he has to look like the stereotypical basketball player, but
uh-huh.
he's not, you know.
Dang, y'all. Come on. Luca, I love you. You still my child. They were wrong.
I
Okay,
love you too, Luca.
so here's the deal. While we're talking about basketball, I want to maneuver over on the whole Ja situation, just to bring up a couple of points. Because Ja is started, he's playing tonight. This is his first game back from after his 8 game suspension that the NBA gave him. The Grizzlies gave him 2 games, and then the NBA ultimately said, okay, well, 8 games total. So, and you guys know that that was all from him brandishing a gun in the club after a game in Denver, and him posting it on social media. So why am I bringing this up again, like after the fact, and the fact that Ja is back playing tonight, y'all? Because has it occurred to any of y'all that the NBA has been extremely delicate with Ja during this situation? Like, almost to the point of coddling. And what I mean by that is that they've been uh the the Grizzlies are like, okay, Ja, we got you 2 games. And then they pass him on to Adam Silver. And Adam Silver says, okay, Ja, you know what you did was wrong, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you another suspension. And you know what? We're just going to tell everybody you're stressed out and you need stress management. That'll get everybody to chill out on the whole brandishing a gun thing. And then on top of the NBA being so delicate with the Ja situation, then there's Nike, who publicly releases a statement and says, we're supporting him, we're behind him 100%, and we're rooting for him. So here's the deal. Not only is the NBA, Nike doing that, my question and concern is, why is it so delicate with Ja when it's about gun violence and brandishing guns and that culture that we're trying to get away from, versus someone like Kyrie? Which, remember when Kyrie got in trouble in Brooklyn for he didn't even post he shared a trailer for a movie that had some anti-Semitic remarks. And he said, well, I just posted the trailer. I didn't write
Like the
anything. I
movie.
think he didn't do anything illegal, right? So, but I think before the NBA even released a statement, here come the Brooklyn Nets. Remember the laundry list of things that Kyrie had to do before he could play again? A laundry list of things. And I'm talking about a ridiculous list of things that he had to do to come back to the Brooklyn Nets to play. And on top of that, what happened with Nike? Nike says, he lost his signature sneaker deal with them after that suspension. He lost it. Why? Because to them, this was anti-Semitic. And he said, he made an apology and said, there is nothing about me that is anti-Semitic. That is not who I am as a person. I don't hate other people for what they believe in. He said it publicly. And guess what? People washed their hands of him. The Brooklyn Nets didn't want him to come back. That's why the laundry list was so long for the things that they wanted him to do. So, what to me, what's the writing on the wall here?
No, to me, the thing with Kyrie was so different because the Jewish population, the Jewish community is strong there, and they have a lot of pull. They have a lot of strong ties. And that was just a matter of him rubbing the wrong people the wrong way. And that's what I feel the bottom line with that is. And for all we know, somebody at Nike may be completely tied to the Jewish community. But I just feel like that was more a matter of him being him just rubbing them the wrong way versus this, which I agree. They're just basically John Moran's, just like with Jalen Rose. He sat down and had that interview with him. I was young. I was a young kid carrying a gun. I needed, everybody is treating him like whatever. And it wasn't to the point that, because you're thinking you get this interview, I'm going to sit down with John Moran, we're going to talk really what happened. And that's not really what happened. What really happened is we're going to give this kid a chance to apologize and to say that he was wrong and to say that I'm going to make better decisions. And basically, that interview served ESPN, that interview served in helping him try and clean up his image and say, I've risked a lot, I've hurt my team, and I got to make better decisions. And that's all it was. It wasn't ever a point like, what the freak were you thinking? Like, not only did this happen at your house, how did that happen? But now you in the club doing the same thing. Now you at wherever, where they got into it with the people about his mom, whatever, Foot Locker, Foot Action, whatever place that was. And then your entourage is pointing a laser at somebody. Like, there's a lot going on that has not been addressed, but it just seems like they just really trying to handle it with kid gloves for whatever reason.
Yes.
And, we'll just kind of see what happens because hopefully he has learned his lesson and hopefully it works. And they say, okay, we're going to let you get by on this. And then it doesn't come back to haunt everybody,
I get that. But my thing is Kyrie Irving, he has not broken a law that we know of like that publicly. And he has been ostracized. He's been reprimanded. He's been put on the chopping block because of the post that he made and or that he shared something. And I understand what the sentiment behind it was, but I'm saying, and then you turn around where Ja is brandishing guns and we having multiple situations with him with guns and you handle the situation so delicately, and then here we come, like school shootings. We've had 2 school shootings here in Dallas
back to back.
Back to back. My son went to one of the schools. So when it comes to gun violence, like that stuff shouldn't be tolerated across the board. If it's not allowed in the facilities, in the arena, on the buses, on the planes for the NBA players, then why are we coddling this situation? Because it's Ja Morant. Like, who, I understand Kyrie Irving has pissed off a select group of people, and he apologized for it. Ja has given an apology, true enough, but the punishment didn't meet the crime. It didn't. Not when you look at everything that Kyrie lost. And then for Nike to take away Kyrie's deal and then go behind Ja after brandishing a gun and saying, you know what, we're gonna stick by you. We're gonna have
Yeah.
your back.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It does not make sense to me. That we're talking about things that don't match. And for me, that's frustrating looking at the league that's supposed to be super progressive, but you're not being super progressive when you want to censor somebody for sharing something and he apologized and you still want to punish him. But then this one right here, would we be having these conversations about Ja if Ja never posted the video on social media? Would Ja be remorseful at all if none of us ever found out that these are the things that he's been doing with guns over the last year? Maybe not. Maybe he continues the same behavior if he never posted that video.
I mean, there's no reason to think. I mean, there's no reason to know if he would, but there's no reason to think he would without any consequence, right?
Right.
And he hasn't had a real consequence.
Right.
You know, it's just it's a threat of a whooping. You know what I'm saying? It is you haven't gotten a whooping yet. I'm telling you right now, you do that again, I'll whoop your butt, and that's kind of what he's gotten.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it again, Mama. I promise, and we'll see. And
exactly.
you know, I just unfortunately, Ant says the situation demonstrates that Jewish people have more collective pride and less tolerance for BS than Black people. We should have been more offended. The thought of him embracing violent tendencies that plague our people. And I agree with that. And I think it's more than just collective pride, it's collective power.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So they do have a great, strong amount of pride, but they have power, and it's evident in everything that Kyrie was forced to even try to do. Like, they gave him a laundry list of stuff like, you got to go milk our cows and deliver our wives' babies and nurse the babies as they come out. You know what I'm saying? They gave him a list of things to do that were just crazy if this is what you want to do. But they want to ridicule him because they felt ridiculed. You know what I'm saying? And so they have collectively contacts because they are. I mean, Jewish people, they're typically, and I don't mean just in general, because there's wealthy Black people as well.
Right.
There are, but we just haven't shown that we do things in a collective movement, and we haven't done that. Unless we're outraged when somebody gets beat up by the police, and then we're outraged. And I mean, we're outraged for a month or two
on how we go about it.
But
we still disagree.
Right. And so, but for them, they literally like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how this is gonna happen, and they plan and move. And that's what has happened with Kyrie. And it's unfortunate that he has been ostracized. It's unfortunate that he did lose all of his endorsements. And now he's just thought of as this troublemaker, as this whatever. And as much as you want to talk about Kyrie, every team that he has gone to, he's made better. Didn't always end on the best terms. But when he went to the team, he's made those teams better. And so that part gets overlooked by what happened in Boston. And it's unfortunate. I mean, Boston. It's unfortunate. Brooklyn. It's unfortunate, but that's just what that is. And when you have a group of people who band together, who have a lot of money and a lot of power, that's the risk that you take. On the same note, apparently somebody with money and power really likes Ja. It was like, Ja needs to stay, and we're going to do as much as we can to make him stay. And it doesn't happen often for a young Black guy to have this kind of opportunity. So I'm hoping that he
I
doesn't
get
mess
that
it up.
part. I get that part. Somebody in the NBA and in Nike said, looked at Ja's situation and said, okay, he's 23. He's still the face of the Grizzlies. He could still be the face of the NBA if he's not beyond um what's the word that I'm
Recovery, repair,
right,
recovery,
right.
whatever.
He's not beyond that. So we can work with him now. If we hone in and he gets it together now, he could still be this great player, this great um mentor, and so on and so forth for the young adults. However, I'm like at this point, I don't know how to take the NBA and how they're gauging what they support and what they don't. Because at the end of the day, hey, Dear, while I'm a mom at home worried about my son going to school and dealing with school shootings and stuff, and Ja Morant's in the club brandishing guns, and the NBA and Nike is supporting that, it's making me like look at the situation like y'all support that. And Kyrie shared a post and you just dang near blackballed him.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the NBA where it's like, get it together. Like if you're gonna pick and choose, like make it black and white. Don't leave gray areas like that, because that makes people like me look at you and say, well, y'all just picking and choosing where you're gonna make the most money. You're making decisions based off of how can I make the most money, as opposed to making decisions and giving people the consequences that they need and deserve. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like Kyrie's consequences, I don't feel like he deserved the consequences that were presented to him. But Ja, I'm like, where are his consequences? The real ones. Because you said stress management. What the hell is stress management?
I need stress management.
Everybody needs stress management, but that's no more than come on. You and I both know what that is. This is just, that is the coddling. Come on, Ja. All you have to do is go to stress management. And that's what they're calling it. I'm stressed out, so I need to go to the club and take videos of myself holding a gun. That's stress management? Seriously? Okay. All right,
Yeah,
NBA.
and it is hurtful. It's just so much, just in general. I mean, even these past couple of weeks, I've had two people that I love lose their sons to guns.
Mm.
And it's just, and young people, like, and I don't know. I mean, that in general, and I don't know. What is Ant saying? Something weird happened in the Mavs Warrior game. Looks like the Mavs weren't ready after a timeout.
Where is
Oh,
that
wow.
2 points because the Mavericks
That's
weren't.
unfortunate. But I mean, I think the whole gun thing, just in general, in America, needs to be addressed. And the NBA typically is good about being a platform for
Right.
things like that. And
Right.
so it is a little bit weird. And it's kind of like you don't really know how to take it, like you said, because I I want him to have an opportunity the same way
Right.
I want Kyrie to have an opportunity to keep going and playing and doing the same thing, the same way I wanted Colin Kaepernick to have an opportunity to keep going
Exactly.
and playing and doing what he wants. But you know, the powers that be, which is the good old boy network, which is the people who founded these things and created and owned and bought these $40 million slaves, as they call it, those are the ones who make the rules. I do appreciate that they let him off, but it is like, what message is it sending?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't talk about us, right? Like, you can't, and you're gonna stand 10 toes on the line and do what we tell you to do. But we used to y'all carrying guns. We used to y'all acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what kind of message it's sending. I just hope that
No,
he, as a young dude, takes the opportunity to do right versus, you know, not acknowledging this little slap on the wrist that he got and still
that
doing crazy
that's
stuff.
really what it was. That's
Mm.
really what it was a slap on the wrist, and he's been definitely coddled. And I promise you, when we get the opportunity to interview Kyrie, like this is one of the questions I want to ask him. Like, do you feel like the NBA is fair across the board when it comes to what they support and what they don't? Because I really do think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're having to have this particular conversation the way that we're having. We're talking about consequences. I feel like Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice. No, we're talking about consequences. Because this is ridiculous. Hey, Daddy, thank you for tuning in. So, okay. All right. We don't have to keep beating the dead horse, but I am. If you guys have opinions about that, let us know what you think. I know uh is it DJ Jam and Carson? He said that you could carry a gun, but you can't talk about the Jews in Welcome to America. I
Welcome to
definitely
America.
get that. Kyrie will gladly answers that question after he retires. I understand that, and I get that, and I wouldn't even be mad. But it's just the principle. Like y'all, this is the whole situation.
Crazy.
Um, Matthew says one is calling out the Jews, empowering Black people, and the other one is promoting detrimental behaviors to the Black people. Matthew, we know this. We know this, and that's the part that I'm saying. Like you want to support the issue that plagues our community, gun violence against each other, but yet and still posting about a movie that you didn't make, you just shared it. Okay, I
Yeah.
digress.
Barron says they're treating the NBA players like rappers. Let you put your foot in your own mouth.
But they're not. See, this is the thing. The NBA picks and chooses who they want to censor, though. Ja can say and do what he wants to do. Kyrie can't. And they have made that blatantly clear. And that's the part that I'm not all for with the NBA. I love how the NBA has been, as far as sports organizations goes. The NBA is probably the best one and the most progressive when it comes to social issues, racism, things like that. But this is not the way to go about it. You can't be like, we hate racism and then support gun toting job like how you are NBA and Nike. You can't.
And I guess
Like one.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, the thing to me, like you said, the crimes are so very very different, and the punishment. Because you remember, Kyrie literally he had to condemn the movie and apologize,
Yes.
donate half a million. He had to donate $500,000 to anti-hate causes,
And they
sensitivity
still
training,
wasn't gonna let him back in the next
anti-Semitic
play.
training, and then meet with the Jewish leaders basically to like he had a list of things that he had to do just to even get back on the bench to be able to play. And so it's a little tricky, and I don't
It
know
is.
how it's going to play out. At the end of the day, I hope that John Morant takes this as an opportunity to be better, to be a spokesperson, to be a better leader, to not just say, okay, cool. Because I mean, if I let my kids get away with stuff, and I say, okay, well, I know you didn't mean to do it, don't do it again. They might or might not, you
Because
know,
there's not a big enough consequence.
they might or might not.
And that's the thing. It needs to be big enough consequences. And just like Nike took away Kyrie's deal, they should have been right there behind Ja and saying, you know what, Ja, we don't want to be associated with that type of personality. So Ant says the one and done has transferred the NBA into a developmental league in terms of ball skills and personal maturity. So real quick, before we move on to football, I will talk about that. So Sadell, one of the things that the Memphis Grizzlies has done since the Josh situation is they have said as an organization, because our team is so young, when the game is over, we're not staying overnight in any city. We're headed home the same night. And this is the thing that could not be of the NBA of 20 years ago with some veterans on the team. First of all, any team with some veterans, that's not going to fly. But second of all, Michael Jordan used to go and gamble after the game. He would have won or lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And guess what? He's still showing up on that plane. He's still going to be on time. He's still going to be in practice. He's still going to give his 150% effort every time he hits the court. Dennis Rodman went off and acted a fool too. And guess what? He didn't miss a practice. He came back. He did what he was supposed to do. And now the NBA is having to literally hold grown men's hands and say, guys, since you guys can't handle the freedom of being an adult, we're going to have to treat you like a child and hold your hand and make sure that you get home safely. And to me, if that's how the NBA is going to be, then maybe you do need to require G League. Maybe you do need to get rid of G League and make them stay in college longer. Do something, because this is not what the NBA should be. The NBA shouldn't be where they have to hold hands of grown ass men. That should not be the case. And these are grown men with the mentality, mentally, and the emotional intelligence of a child.
So
a lack of consequences.
I don't. My whole thing with that is, Kobe Bryant came straight from high school. LeBron. So just because these dudes are young, I don't think it's necessarily that. It's just them in general. I mean, there were people before coming from high school. One and done was implemented to prevent that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just come straight from high school. You got to do at least 1 year of college, whatever. But it's just a matter of, for one, the leadership of the team, the organization, and the kids that they're bringing. I mean, and I'm not saying Jai's a bad kid, but apparently the people that are around him, like, he just needs to be held accountable in more ways than one. And that's the biggest thing, because
but now it's affecting the team.
Right. Because I mean, when you think about, how many issues have you heard LeBron getting into? Kobe had that little whatever thing, in Colorado. But I'm just saying, in general, they weren't doing crazy stuff. They weren't out doing that, and they didn't. They're younger than these guys are right now.
Right. Hey, Brandy, Detail to Your Town. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all check out her podcast. Go to her page, Detail to Your Town.
Boss lady. Hey.
Matthew. Oh, Matthew. He said, which ones do the big wigs suppress us and promote? We still live in a racist society and a capitalistic society. Goodness gracious. Y'all read the rest of Matthew's comment. If we were on one accord, the 70-something% of the Black NBA would be running the league instead of being employed by the league. Matthew, I get that. I get that. But the reality of that is totally different. And says the straight from high school players were few and far between. The entire draft classes now are 19-year-olds. Very true.
Well, but see, the difference with that too is, I mean, those kids come, like for instance, the kid at Baylor, Keontae George. Keontae George is guaranteed one and done. He's he's going to the pros.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like the NBA didn't have the option to before. They chose not to. So they're going off and getting these younger kids because they don't want them. They know these kids are going to opt to go to the draft. If the NBA said, hey, we're not going to pull these 19-year-olds in anymore, then that would be something they would do to be able to get more mature kids. But they choose to not do that. They were few and far between before. And to be honest, it was different. You know, there weren't as many. Now kids are going to training 4 or 5 times a week. They're training with pros. They're growing to be 7 feet tall. You know, so it is changing and it is evolving. It is different and it's going to continue to evolve. And they're going to have to get a hold of it before it gets out of control or more out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what Baron says, just like your own kids, you don't give up on them. They're young. I understand that. But like, geez. So the whole one and done, now the college students have the NIL money, the name, image, and likeness funds. You can get paid more in NIL money than you can in the G League. So I understand, like, so there's more incentive now for students to stay in college than it was before. But I just don't understand why we have a G League if we have to coddle and hold hands in the NBA. I don't understand that. What's the purpose of the G League? If the G League is supposed to be developmental, then what this is exactly what developmental is. When you have to hold somebody's hand and you have to coddle them. So what's the difference? What is the purpose of the G League if they're going to get paid NIL money in college and then you still have to hold their hand in the NBA? What the heck is the purpose of the G League? It's just there. And that's the part where it's like, NBA, come on, figure it
But
out. What
see, the developmental league is more athletic, not mental. So the G League is trying to get them physically ready to be able to compete in the NBA. And some of these guys, like I said, Keontae George, Tyrese Maxey, those younger guys who went and they actually can play and contribute. Now, mentally, they may not be there, but that's not what the G League is for. It's not developing them mentally, it's developing them so their skill set will be transferable into the NBA. And a lot of those kids, like Ja, like those other kids that'll be coming along, they're going to be physically able to come in and contribute, but they'll they'll have to develop them and help them mature.
Well, at the end of the day, how I feel about all of this, of what I've said about the Kyrie Irving versus the Ja Morant and the NBA and Nike delicately handling the Ja Morant situation, that does not mean I don't want to see this young man succeed. I absolutely want to see him succeed. I want to see Ja Morant be great. Okay, I don't want that misconstrued at all, because at the end of the day, I want to see all of them win. Okay, hold on. No, that's not the truth. Not as far as like beating my team, not beating the Mavericks, but no, but being great in life, right? Um, and so I know we have to get ready to wrap up some of this stuff. And says the NBA, like most jobs, doesn't care about mental development until the lack of it becomes an issue in the workplace. And that, as it has with the whole Ja Morant situation. Um, have we seen LeBron? Are you talking about something specific? Because we always see LeBron.
I think you mean because he's been missing for a while.
Because look, and hopefully we'll stay gone. Because who want to see the Lakers in the playoffs? Not I, said the
A
girl in
lot of people
the
do. A lot of people want to see him.
Okay, so real quick, because look, I'm just gonna say this so all of the haters can go on and leave me the entire heck alone. about my Dallas Mavericks. Look, yes, we lost Zeke, and a lot of people are happy about it. We don't have Ezekiel Elliott anymore. Kellen Moore is gone. That doesn't necessarily make me happy because Mike McCarthy is still here, right? We still have Trayvon Diggs, Michael Parsons, D Law for our defense. We re-signed Donovan Wilson, Leighton Vander Esch, which I was glad about, even though he's had some injury issues. We still have Cooper Rush as a backup to Zach, and then Tony Pollard, who we acquired in the last few days, with Stephon Gilmore, the cornerback, who's a more seasoned, older cornerback. And then we have Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans, a receiver. So with Stephon Gilmore, I've heard, and Brandon Cooks, I've heard the haters, oh, y'all think y'all got it made. No, we never said we had it made. We just said we got a little bit better. Now, I understand Stephon Gilmore has been traded multiple times, as is Brandon Cooks, because both of them have had, or I know Stephon Gilmore has had some injury issues. I get that. But when you look at Trayvon Diggs, that we've had, what he does as a corner, and then you see Stephon Gilmore, I really do think Stephon Gilmore will help Trayvon Diggs and have him step up his game to be a better defender. At least that's what my hope is. Now, as far as Brandon Cooks goes, I'm not sure he will be a number one receiver, but I'm not thinking that we got him to be a number one receiver. I still think that they're going to want CeeDee Lamb in that place, and then have Brandon Cooks there, and then Michael Gallup. We don't have Dalton Schultz anymore. I don't know what the heck we're going to do in a tight end situation, because when we have the two receivers and the tight end on the field, that's our bread and butter. That's where we do the best offensively. What I am hoping for, y'all know I am hook 'em horns. I bleed burnt orange. I got on my UT Dallas. We still part of the UT system. Let's go, Bijan Robinson, by any means necessary. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Dallas Cowboys organization, go after Bijan Robinson, get him, bring him to Dallas. Watch our running, because this is the thing. Mike McCarthy wants us to run. Let's run and utilize Tony Pollard. And see, Tony Pollard is the awesome running back. After he gets so many yards after contact, he's a great check down running back. We don't have, what we're gonna miss with Zeke is his power, his legs. He was great with blocking, so we won't have that. But
you saw that video I sent you on his blocking.
Brandy said we go out to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
Brandy. Let's go, Brandy.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Draw in the league. Stop playing, please. Oh, y'all, this game is getting down. The last 3 minutes of the game, 118 to 119. We are up by 1. So we're gonna get ready to wrap this up in a minute.
Bron is a big draw. I mean, he is. I'm
not gonna dispute that. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, our team did get better. My Dallas Cowboys got better. I'm not gonna go out there and say we're gonna win the Super Bowl next season. I know y'all want me to.
Right. I'm surprised. I'm thankful. Like, okay, let's go. Let's be real.
And Sadale, what I'm also gonna say is that this is the year, though. This is the year. But you know what this is the year for? Dakota Prescott got to step it up. This is a do or die year for him. We done got rid of Zeke. We got an extra receiver. We got this. We got that. Our O-line has improved. Come on, Dak. I love you as the official Dak ambassador. I will have your back. But this is a do or die. We got to do it, or he's gonna have to get the boot.
So I appreciate you saying that. Um, right.
Hey,
Brings out
Jordan. Yo, that's my baby. My nephew Jordan is watching me. What's up, baby?
my signal is crazy, so I keep timing out. But I do appreciate. So when you first started out, you said this is the year. This is gonna be the year. I was thinking it was gonna be the same thing we heard last year because you said this is the
No,
year that Dak's gonna be the man. But when you say like this is the year, like he has to,
he
he
has
has
to.
to.
He has
You
to.
know what I'm saying?
He has
And
to. Have y'all seen me evolve? Have y'all seen the official deck ambassador evolve?
right, yes, I appreciate that because I mean I'm just saying like we've put out a lot of money and
Yes.
we haven't gotten our return on our investment as of yet.
Not yet.
So
But I do think Dak is capable. I'm not confident in Mike McCarthy, but I absolutely do think Dak is capable. So let's go, Dak. Let's see what you got,
and
and let's play. Let's
to
play.
be honest, it's also Mike McCarthy. Let's see what you really gonna do. So you gonna be the play caller this year, as
I
it
don't trust
seems.
that. I don't trust that because
No,
Mike McCarthy does not have awareness. He lacks awareness. Look at the fourth quarter. He don't know how many timeouts we have. He doesn't know
no.
where we are on the field. He's not looking at the clock.
But let's also go back to a lot of times that was put off on Kellen Moore. So now that scapegoat is gone. So now we can really see who was calling the plays, who was doing what, and
Yep.
if you really that dude. Now you
Yep.
got stuff done with discount double check. And no offense to the DAC ambassador, discount double check is discount double check. So I'm just saying that's different. But what you gonna do with Dak?
Dak has got to step it up, Sadell. He's got to step it up this year.
I think it's both of them. I think Mike McCarthy
Mike
has to
McCarthy.
prove this year as well, and I think Dak definitely has to prove this year as well. The thing is, what else are we gonna do? I mean, it's hard. It's the same thing that I go back to Lamar Jackson. I mean,
Mhm.
you act like you can just drop a quarterback and go pick one up just like that. It's not that easy.
Nope.
And
Nope.
so
Raven's about to see that
Dak
real
needs to
quick.
step up because we need him to step up. But if he doesn't, then what?
If he doesn't step up, then we might look into drafting another QB.
But if we're not willing to spend the money and draft in the first round, then we're going to end up in the same position that we're in now. If you
I,
go back and look at Dallas Cowboys history, we've only won with a first round drafted quarterback only. And if we're not willing to go and spend that money and say, okay, we really care about this position, and we just gonna draft somebody in the fourth round for a discount and try and play that out, we're gonna end up in the same position. That's just what that is.
I really hope that that's not the case. I totally see what you're talking about. I get that, but I'm hoping that that's not the case because I feel like too many years we have on paper the best talent
Right.
like in the league. If not the best, like number one, we're like top three talent on paper, but it does not translate on the field, and that there is the problem. So that's why I'm saying we've got to get it together. Let's go, Dak, and let's go. I got a
Big
root for
Mike.
Mike McCarthy. I'm so not a Mike McCarthy fan, only because I feel like he's what's holding us back, not Dak. I do feel like if Sean Payton was here, I'd be like, Brandy, we going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Have Sean Payton. And with Sean Payton, with Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks, with Dak at quarterback, we absolutely could win a Super Bowl. But we don't have that. Why? Because Jerry Jones won't let Sean Payton be great in Dallas. But it's cool, whatever. Okay. Before
He's
we
not gonna
wrap,
let anybody be great in Dallas.
right? Hey, mama, my family's like popping up today. But real quick,
Right.
before we get out, I do have to just say this. With the shootings that have gone on in Dallas this week, like my heart goes out to all of the families involved. The young man who lost his life in my son's school, Jay Sean Perrier, and his family. Is another young woman who was shot in the face at my son's school as well. And the shooter was only 15 and now facing capital murder charges at 15. So I implore parents, it's on us. It's on us to protect our babies and to protect other people's babies from our kids if that's the case. Like we have to be mindful. We have to be nosy. Talk to your kids, see where they are mentally, emotionally, because what's going on now, like how I felt this week with my son, just today they went back to school for the first time, and I'm like, text me every step of the way. And I hate feeling like that. We shouldn't feel like that with taking our kids to school. Our kids should go to school and worry about their grades, not worry about is somebody gonna shoot them. So I feel like with all this stuff, that's why I feel so strongly about the John Morant brandishing the gun like that. This is the time his PR team, to me, should make a statement about guns, school shootings. Should be out. Come to Dallas. We'll interview you. We'll hook you up with the daggone schools. There needs to be something because there these kids don't have emotional outlets, and they don't know how to deal with challenges. They don't know how to deal with things that are coming their way, and their emotions are all over the place. And it's our job to really hone into our kids and make sure that they have the proper resources that they need. So hopefully, y'all, I pray to God that we don't have these issues for the rest of the year, and that all of our kids can be safe going to school. Sadell works in a high school in Dallas. So, and I used to work at the school my son went to. So trust me, like there's a reason I'm not working in the school districts anymore. So I just hope and pray that everybody is staying safe. But once again, I do want to just say my heart goes out to the young man and his family who lost his life, and the other people that are involved, and just hope and pray that we just have a safe rest of the school year.
Yeah, my signal keeps going in and out, so I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I just it is, and it's scary because it's like these kids don't have any regard for life and
Yes.
their life or anyone else's life, and it's hurtful because, yeah, like Brandy said, some parents can't communicate, so
Right.
they don't know how to teach their kids. There was an instance before at this school where this kid had brought the gun to school, pulled the gun out inside the school, threatened to shoot this kid, and a security guard happened to be going by. Kid took off running. They caught him, put the kid in cuffs, put him in the back of the car. The mother comes to the school and is cussing at them. Y'all better get my son out this car. Y'all better, you know what I'm saying? Man, I just,
How did he get the gun? Because guess what? If he
not
under
even
18, he didn't buy it himself.
even with that though, like you're not concerned that this dude pulled a gun out
Right.
and almost took somebody else's life,
Hmm.
but you're mad because they got him in cuffs and sitting in the back of a car.
Hmm. As he
And
should.
and so stuff like that, like it's scary when you think about the direction, not of the world, but just in schools, like you literally have to be in constant prayer, like
Mhm.
just to have protection over these kids because you don't know from day to day. When that incident happened at Arlington Lamar, it was like, wow, I can't believe that happened. And then
Before
the very next day, the incident happened at Thomas Jefferson High School.
Mhm.
So it's just like it's almost copycat because kids, they're like, hey, you get into it with somebody, you gonna have this social media beef, and somebody gonna bring a gun to school the next day, and we gonna work it out,
Mhm.
and not thinking about any kind of consequence, not even a consequence of going to jail, but a consequence of death. Like not even having that be a thought and just being okay with I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna shoot this dude and that's it.
Right. Right.
And so it's scary and it's unfortunate. And to be honest, just the fact that guns are so readily available, like I mean, I have my concealed handgun license. I used to constantly have my gun in my glove compartment always because you never know. But now I'm like, I can't
Mhm.
because I can't risk one of my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like you just you don't know.
You don't.
And it is like you can communicate with them and you can talk to them as much as possible, but even that is not going to guarantee that you're on top of everything. And
Absolutely.
that's and that, yeah. And so I mean, I'm just like that's the unfortunate part. And so that's why I talk to all of our kids, all the basketball players. My kids, be where you're supposed to be. Like, don't be in the halls hanging out. Don't be trying to leave school and do stuff. Be in your classroom, and that may not guarantee you that you're going to be safe, but it minimizes it because that stuff doesn't typically. Somebody's not just in the classroom pulling out a gun.
Right.
A lot of times these kids are in the halls and they're in the bathrooms and
Mhm.
running to see where the fight is happening, and that's when things happen. And so it's just it's a scary situation.
We have to get these kids to think beyond their actions. It's like they think about the action, but not beyond that to even process a consequence, because the consequences are like what, why they don't understand it. It's foreign to them. But if they learn that there are consequences and you don't get to choose the consequence,
Exactly.
once the action is done, you don't get to choose how you're punished. So that's one of the biggest things is really just holding them accountable and getting them to realize that for every action there's a reaction, so whether it's
Whether you
positive or
like it or
negative.
not. Exactly. And that's the thing, because even at school, so to me, I feel like everything, like if we're going to hold them accountable, so we're going to say everybody has to wear uniforms and everybody needs to be in uniform, or if everybody's going to have to wear, whatever it is, and that just doesn't happen. And so, I think I told you before, like if you come to my class late, then you're going to do burpees or jumping jacks or star jumps or push-ups or something. It's going to
Mhm.
be some consequence because I leave my door open for a long time after the bell rings. So if you get there late and the door's closed, then you're gonna do something. And
Mhm.
so they'll be like, Miss, I don't want to I can't do no burpees. I can't crease my shoes. Okay, well, go find somebody to give you a pass or you're not coming in. You know what I'm saying? And so I had this one man bring this kid back and he was like, can you just let him in the class? I mean, he he gonna do what he's supposed to do. I just don't want him to get a zero for today. And I'm like, this dude is late every single day. Every day. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's supposed to do star jumps. He knows why he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't. Well, can you have him do something else? Star jumps is just kind of feminine. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to be jumping like that. Can you let him? And I told him, I said, you as a black man telling me to change the consequence for this kid is really irritating me. Because
Mhm.
when he leaves this walls, he doesn't get to choose what happens. He doesn't get to say, Mr. Officer, I know I got in trouble, but this is not what I want. I don't want you to put the handcuffs on me like this. I want you. He doesn't get to
Right.
choose that. So
Right.
he knew before he went to you what the consequence was. And you coming here back asking me to change it versus saying, man, you need to get to class on time, stay out the halls, stop playing around. because that, to me, little things like that escalate. So now I can come to class and do whatever I want whenever I want. I can leave school and come back. If I get mad at this dude, I might leave school and bring a gun and come back, but I haven't had any consequence, so I'm not thinking that way. And they
Right.
do. Like, they have to learn. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You have to teach them to be accountable. But on the same note, we have to present ourselves as accountable as well.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and so I just think it's crazy and it's unfortunate. But I think we just have to keep pressing forward and keep stressing accountability to them and
Right.
not waver, because sometimes it's like, well, it's okay, Johnny. You know, you did that and we did that, and we're gonna let, when the village can't village.
Mm.
And not even that they can't,
Mm.
that they just choose not to.
Not,
It's
they
a conscious
won't.
decision
Yeah.
to not village.
Yep.
It's a conscious decision to say,
To turn
well,
a blind eye
we're
to
gonna
it.
go ahead and pass him
Yep.
because he did such and such. That kind of stuff bothers me. And I feel like that kind of stuff is what escalates. Same thing with John Morant. That kind of stuff is what escalates and continues to bring about behavior that's worse than before. So, like I said, I hope Ja learns from what he's done. And I hope that he does become a spokesman. Like you said, like, man, I got to be a better example for these young dudes. It's
Right.
too many of them pulling guns. It's too many of them
Right.
killing people. It's too many of them killing themselves. Like, so hopefully something good and positive comes out of it, even though he doesn't have a real consequence.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thank
oh,
y'all.
yeah,
This has
way
been
over. Golly.
a great conversation. We've talked about a lot of things. Didn't even get into the daggone tournament. Go Texas.
Right.
So we'll talk about the tournament next week. Okay. And we'll hopefully Texas will still be in the tournament. So you'll still see me smiling. Hopefully I'll be wearing my Texas shirt next week. So we'll see. Good luck to Texas. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in. I'm seeing we've had 12 shares thus far. Keep sharing. Keep letting people know Dope Sports Chicks exist, and we're
Right.
trying to expand our platform. So let people know that we're here. Let them know that we will interview them. Call
Right.
us, Da. Pick up the phone. Hit me up.
For sure. For real.
Seriously.
And
Look,
Kyrie.
right, Kyrie, you here.
Somebody have Kyrie call us.
For real. Kyrie, I'm a Lyft driver. You need me to pick you up? I got you. But we will see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of good news and good stories to talk about.
And go Texas. They play on Friday against Xavier. Hopefully they can pull that off. They got past Penn State, and I didn't know if that was going to happen, but
I
yeah.
did.
So let's keep rolling.
I did.
We love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. If no one told you this week they love you, just know that we really love you and appreciate you with all our heart. And we'll see you back here next week. Hope you have a great week.
Yes.
Peace out. Ooh, way over.